Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to Lady Khadija Radiallahu Anha Online College. Live lesson, A-Level Maths Year 2, Pure Maths. Today's new topic for the week is functions. Okay, so let's make a start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most gracious and most merciful. Firstly, we're going to start with a function machine that you hopefully will recognize from a long time ago, hopefully in year 8, year 9 of secondary school you were doing this. Let's bring in a couple of random numbers for 1, 3, and 100. And let's think of a function that we're going to put in the function machine. So just to start off with something nice and easy, x plus 1 is the function. So let's put in the number 4 into the function machine, and out will come the number 5. So why is this called a function? It's because one number goes in and one number comes out. Many numbers can come in, but as long as for every one number that comes in, you only get one number out, then that will be a function. What we can't have is one number going in and more than one number coming out. So each of these have to exactly give you one number out. So 1 goes in, x plus 1, that becomes 2, 2 comes out, 3 goes in, and 4 comes out. Hopefully you can do the next one quick in your mind before me. 100 goes in, and 101 comes out. So really no problem with that function, the numbers we're putting in. So let's just give some names to the numbers that we're putting in. All of the potential numbers that we could put in is called the domain. So these are your x numbers. And then what's coming out, normally you call them the y numbers, but all of the y numbers, wherever they could potentially be, is called a range. So if we're talking about these numbers, we can say that this function can handle the domain. Domain means what do you own? So this function, what numbers does it control over or own over? So here it could handle numbers that are bigger than 0, it could up to infinity, it could handle 0, it could handle less than 0 down to minus infinity. So we could say the domain is all numbers, any number can be x as long as it is a real number. So all x's belonging to the set of real numbers. Any real number can be used for x. For the range, what would we get? The range means if you're looking at all the potential numbers that could come out of the function once the domain numbers go in, what could the range numbers look like or possibly be? Well, they could be positive numbers, any number bigger than 0. It could be all numbers less than 0 if we were putting in smaller numbers less than 0. And it could be 0 as well. So again, the range could be any real number. So we can say that y, if we're calling these numbers y, can belong to any real number. And if we're not going to call them y, then we would call them f of x, the function of x. After we've applied the function on these x numbers, we would end up with f of x, the function after we've substituted in x. Okay, so now coming back to the slightly tricky thing of which functions are we not allowed? So we comes out. If we put in one number in, then it has to be that one number has to come out. Just one number. It can't be that no number comes out. It has to be just one number coming out. 0 is counted as a number, so that's okay. Okay, so here we have a new function, or what we think might be a function, and we just want to test it. So if I put in a few random numbers, let me try and use slightly different numbers. So 4 is fine. Let's go for a negative minus 4. Let's go for 0. So if I put in a function like x squared, and let me just put square in it, then what we're looking for is that for every one number I put in, I get one number out. So let's put in 4, and we will end up with 16. Let me change color. -4 goes in, and 16 comes out. So the question is this fulfilling our rule that one number goes in, one number comes out? Because it looks like two numbers went in and only one number came out. And the answer is yes, this is okay, because one number did go in, the 4, and one number came out, which was 16. One number did go in, which was -4, and one number did come out, which is 16. So it can be the same number that came out as had come out with another number that went in, but that's okay. As long as the number that's going in is generating just one number that's coming out, then we call that a function. So if that does meet the rule of one number going in, one number coming out, then what doesn't meet the rule? So let's show you really where that sentence is key. And now we don't call this a function because if it breaks the rule. So let's put in 4, -4, 0. And this time the rule, the function that we're going to use is x, the square root of x. So let's put in 4, and when I square root 4, do I get one number out? I'll get 2. And now's your time to type into the chat window, is it just 2 that is the answer to the square root of 4? Is there another answer? Or is it just 2? Are you happy that it's just one number? Okay, uh, hopefully you'll get this in with a bit more thinking, but the answer is that actually there is another number that will come out. The square root of x is also not just 2, but -2 as well. So because now one number's going in, the first part is fine, but it's not just one number coming out, then we can't call the square root of x a function. We can we can do lots of other things with it using algebra, but can we give it the name function? Can we say it's a function? No. Mathematicians say if we want to give it the name of a function, then it has to be one number in and one number out. Okay, we'll continue more in our next lesson. So what about the other numbers? That's fine, even if they go in and they bring out an answer. The problem is as long as there's one number that's gone in and you've got more than one answer out, then suddenly the whole thing can't be called a function. Okay, join us again tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.